Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am Alanville, and we're starting with a new visual novel because I thought just going with Sakura Triangles and Danganronpa is anyway kind of a daily thing, so we're going off with a new one. It's called Treasure of a Blizzard. I have no idea what's it about, but it looked interesting, so I grabbed it. Link how you can get it on Steam is in the description below, so let's go. Hey, what's the matter with you? Wake up already, Liabid. I felt my body being shoved around. Normally I'd be annoyed by the treatment, but this time it was a welcome relief. Geez, would you open your eyes already? We need to get a move on before this weather gets any worse. We're not going to make it through the pass at this rate. I opened my eyes. I caught my first sight of the day, a very grumpy Lin. Oh, it's just you. You know, there are a lot of people who want to wake up to a mean mug like yours. Hey, don't look at me like that. Lin and I have known each other for a long time, that this has become sort of a thing of passes for a cheerful morning greeting between us. Well, you'll just have to deal with it. The sooner we get to the capital, the sooner I'll be out of your hair. See? She's hardly phased. I'd be more aware if she was actually were to actually act nice to me for once. You don't look like you slept well. Nightmares again? Hey, don't watch me sleep. It's creepy. Might have gone too far with that one. Taken to her feet with a huff, Lin starts on her way in silence, threatening to leave me behind. Luckily, I packed most of her things before sleeping anyway. Not that catching up to her was going to be too difficult, no matter what I did. Man, this takes me back. Last time we saw each other, we were fighting over petty stuff like this too. It's amazing how well this woman can hold a 3-year grudge. Now, don't go thinking I don't like her, because I do. She's just way too fun to mess with, that's all. I had to pick up the pace, or she was really going to leave me behind with all her stuff too. But what's she going to do if I didn't follow her? Hey. So, what was it you heard about this place earlier? You were going to tell me. Oh, I know that look. She's trying to decide whether she wants to talk or keep sulk. Maybe she doesn't even want to remember what I'm talking about. Nah, she definitely does. She's way too keen on pointless details to forget. Oh, so you want to hear about it? I'm son. God damn it. Still giving me a hard time. I think she's just trying to distract her from our squabbling. It's so late in summer. Why is it so cold around here? Even the mountains should only be capped a little by this time of the year. What's with the high snowdrifts in this path? This weather is too unnatural. Maybe you should have asked your drinking buddy about it. I swear, you're so tuned out sometimes. You should really pay more attention about when people are talking about stuff like this. Well, she's got me there. Have you run into any direwolves before? You should have seen at least a few of them if you were patrolling the border. They say wolves are gathering into larger packs. Can you imagine that? Even alone or in pairs, they're dangerous beings. If they start hunting together, we're in trouble. As usual, Lin is worrying herself about the wrong things. She lets any silly rumors get to her easily. I was more concerned about the harsh winter that wouldn't go away. I'm not worried about wolves. I want to know where all the snow is coming from. You didn't know? Then maybe you'll find this a little more interesting. There's a spirit haunting these mountains. The ghost of some poor soul who tried to cross the range. Maybe they're trying to scare travelers away. Maybe they want to seal their bodies so they can walk among the living again. God damn it, what is... Couldn't be sure whether Lin was trying harder to scare me or herself. She was having a hard time keeping her composure while she spoke. Oh, that looks so cute. Oh, now he's trying to be handsome. Best not to cross paths with him then. We know how weak you are when it comes to magic. Widening her eyes, Lynn went pale. Well, turnabout's fair play after all. You're not scaring me. I'm a soldier, not a kid. Careful, Lynn. Better not let your commander see you like this. Alicia was ready to drop the act. Anyway, the path's always like this. It snows here year-round. Didn't you know that? It might seem a little strange since other mountains not far from here aren't buried in snow like this, but that's how it is. By the way, I've heard that beastmen are getting more active lately. Now they should be dug into their holes and not wandering about like this. Maybe it's got something to do with the wolves. Hey, you're not listening at all, aren't you? Are you? Something beast wolves, etc. so forth. Of course I wasn't listening. I had felt a gust of warm air and was already looking to find its source. We weren't really dressed for the cold. I hadn't been expecting it, and I guess Lynn was just planning to tough it out. Finally caught a sight of what I've been looking for. Hey, there's a stream over there. A hot spring, maybe. Maybe we can use the chance to warm up. Lynn scowled. As much as she didn't like being ignored, it was obvious that the cold was getting too much for her. She couldn't stop herself from shaking in the snow. Is that her hands, or is that... I think those are just from the text. If you need a break, just say so. But you know we've been only on the trail for about an hour. You're not going to make the cold go away by sitting in every time you get a little uncomfortable. Wait. I guess we won't need to start a fire here. We clearly found a fallen tree near the source of the spring. It was good enough to keep us off the ground while we stopped, at least. We were upwind of the spring geyser. I figured we could take shelter by it without getting sprayed too much. After checking to see... No, that's really just the font. After checking to see that she wouldn't be disturbing any nests of frostbite ants, Lynn found a place to sit herself and open up her pack. I couldn't blame her for being cautious. Those things rightly earn their name with venom in their pincers. Set about slicing herself a meal of bread and cheese. None for me. I guess Lynn can be surprisingly thoughtless sometimes. Weren't you in a hurry to get to the capital? She didn't wait for my revolver, satisfying her hunger. Would you be in this kind of situation? Losing my patience, I snatched Lynn's dagger away from me and claimed my share of our rations. Food really blinds this woman to everything around her. I know you're not happy about all this, but you don't really have a choice if you want to help your father. What kind of idiot openly offers aid to rebels anyway? All this trouble is his own doing. I had a hard time choking down my meal after hearing her words. Lynn knew better than that. Father may have been too generous, too naive, but he thought he was helping refugees. How could he have known he'd be charged with harboring enemies of the Imperium? Don't worry. You're not under that much of suspicion. You might have to be guarded to make sure you don't try anything rash, but that's all. You're not an enemy of the state yet. I wish you had served with me in the capital instead of coming way out here. Could have settled this much faster, and nobody would be doubting you now. This situation is only harder than it has to be because you're so stubborn. You again with this. How many times do I have to tell you this? That isn't happening. I'm not going to hang back in the comforts of the city just to grow over for breadcrumbs at the feet of some posh nobles. Before I could realize, Lynn grabbed me by the collar and threw me down. Definitely went too far with that one. If you had something to say, just out with it. You got a problem with the way I live my life? Live. Burst of steam hissed over Lynn's words as a spout of hot water erupted behind him. Standing over me as she wound up shielding me from getting hosed down by the blast. Rotten luck on her part, it seemed. Oh damn it. The shock had knocked her off her feet, with her being half soaked. The bitter air so quickly stole away most of the warmth she had managed to gather since we stopped here. Hey, are you alright? Thanks to Lynn, I've been barely touched by the Sun sprouted. After making sure that the eruption was finished, I decided to check on Lynn, see how bad she got it. Her back was still hot. She was definitely too wet for the weather now. She couldn't be left like this. Fine. Achoo! Well, that does it. She's definitely not going to be okay unless I do something. Though I hated to part with it, I took off my cloak and offered it to her. Stop it. I don't need that. You take it. What do I look like? A charity case? She pushed herself away from me and sat down on the fallen tree. Though she suddenly tried not to, she couldn't help but shiver again. She glanced at me for a moment, then quickly looked away. Idiot. What was she trying to prove? Hey, don't be stupid. You're soaked. You need it more than I do. Why? So you can tell me how much I grovel for scraps? Don't bother, I can... She wanted to be obstinate. Well, and that was her business, but my business was that I was not going to let her freeze to death because she wanted to be childish. Not waiting for her to explain anymore, I threw my cloak over her, whether she wanted me to or not. Probably a little too forceful. No, definitely too forceful. I slipped on the soaked ground and fell on my feet to a pile of powdered snow. I looked up to find that Lynn had taken it off and lowered it onto me. Hey, I'm the one trying to help you here. I wasn't a softie from the Pomfrey city. A little harsh climate wasn't going to hurt me, but Lynn was a different matter. Whatever she wasn't taking this situation or her health seriously enough. Fine, she wants to make a stupid game out of this. I'll play it, keep quiet and wait for her to break so she would have to speak first. I didn't ask you to. What? Time for another nap already? Oh, stop that. Don't be stubborn. Now you really will need to wear that coat. Finally approached and reached your hand to help me up. Answer softly. You're still the same girl of character I liked once. Do you remember us fighting in the snowdrifts? What are you talking about? I remember. Then got even far redder, turned aside. Probably her mood got even worse than mine had been. I stood up, offered my cloak once again. Lynn, come on, for our childhood friendship's sake, take the cloak. Your stubbornness will make everything worse. Not looking at me, she stretched her hand, took the warm cloth, having put it on, she awkwardly took the back of the map. We need to go that way. Her quiet voice was hardly here. Maybe the cold was even worse than I expected. Then won't you light a campfire and make yourself warm? She quickly negatively shook her head and put away the map. She moved the way she had pointed before. I quickly gathered the belongings and followed her. Probably should have insisted on a longer help, but right now, Lynn doesn't look to be in the mood to be persuaded easily. The sun crept over the mountain ridge beyond our reach, taking all but the last of our daylight with it. I was really starting to get worried about Lynn. As much as she tried to hide it, even with the cloak, she was in a bad way. If she kept pushing herself like this, she would be in no condition to travel tomorrow. Hey, I think we should share a blanket tonight? Without a word, Lynn drew a sword. She just shy of skewering me with it. I guess that was her answer. Looks like she was still mad about earlier. Hey, don't look at me like that. It's too frigid to sleep alone out here. I'm thinking we need to stay warm so we won't die overnight. Before I could finish, I picked on some movement of the corner of my eye. Something was watching us from the tree line. Hey, did you see that? The culprit, a lone striped deer, came into my view and took quickly off as it had come. Strange. It didn't seem that we were the ones who spooked it. Hey, how about you look me in the eye when you're trying to smooth things over with your dumb lies? I'm trying to tell you, it's not like that. The freezing wind suddenly picked up, cutting through us like a knife's edge. It howled as it carved through the pass. Hey, weren't you saying something about the wolves hunting in bigger packs before? It occurred to me that Lynn's sword was the only weapon between us. Even on the border, there were guys like her who liked to tell stories about monster terrorizing whole squads of armed men. I didn't buy any of the telltales. tall tales. But even a normal pack of wolves would be a serious problem if we didn't have a way to defend myself. Okay? I didn't wait for Lynn to give me her answer. Calling her bluff, I brushed her sword aside and took her by the hand. We shouldn't hang around in these parts too long. We need to find some shelter, at least safety. Stay out of their hunting ground, so they don't mistake us for a meal. Lynn shields her sword. I noticed out of the corner of my ear, her face was getting redder than usual. You feel worse, don't you? If you like, I can carry you in my arms. However, if she feels sick, I can carry her too. At least I experienced worse situation when I was in the army. No, go ahead, you fool. Pushed my arms away and made distance between us larger. Now she was moving all by herself without staggering. But you'd be alert for something unexpected. Kept going further toward the mountain pass as quickly as the snowstorm would allow us. Okay. Twilight passed us on the trail. It was getting harder to move in the darkness, but we hadn't found a reasonable place to make camp yet. Lynn wasn't doing well, but neither was I. The night was starting to chill both of us to the point we weren't going to last much longer in this. Thankfully, we didn't have to. Hey, do you see that? It looks like there's a light over there. Even in the thick of the snow, it was easy for me to spot the dim glow in the distance. It was the only sign of life we'd seen since we'd lost the sun. Lynn followed my gaze without enthusiasm. She didn't seem to believe me. I don't see anything. Even so, are you sure it's a good idea? You never know what could be in a strange house out there. She wasn't being unreasonable. Badly maintained house out here could be as good as one strong gust of wind away from collapsing on its supports. But it was less certain than the death we'd face out here. I gave Lynn a nudge to let her know we were going for it. It's better than staying out here. I'll take the chance. Or would you rather stay out here and deal with what lurks in the forest? Look, I can deal with a few wolves. You said anything about wolves, didn't you say there could be lingering spirits haunting the past too? What'll you do about those? Hey, don't start with that. I wasn't serious, okay? There's probably no ghosts out here, so? This superstition was a great tool to use now. She was way too pig-headed to believe that she could be brought down by wild animals, even in her estate, and forget scaring her with the threat of death by the end of it. She doesn't know the difference between discomfort and danger. So I was pretty much limited to frightening her with the kind of thing you used to scare a child. As long as it kept us out of real danger, I was willing to humor her about those things. I nudged her again, bringing us closer to the light. Guess we better see what's out there then. Following the glow of light that led us to clearly a strangely well-kept house, and in a Japanese style. Who would live in such a well-maintained home out here in the wilderness? Such a quaint little thing. You'd almost expect to find it in a cozy town, not in the middle of a mountain pass. As we approached, we found a door plate at the entrance with a curious inscription. Come on in and have a good time. Haha, not bad, whoever you are. Though I would have preferred something more like drink to your heart's content. Was this a coaching inn? Doesn't seem like it would get very many customers out here. Lynn waited nervously for me to make the first move, so I gave the door a few knocks. Nothing. The lights are on, but nobody's home. Well then, let's not waste any more time. Just go in and if anybody comes back, we'll explain ourselves then. Trembling either from the chill or her unease, Lynn decided to draw a sword. Hopefully a human is all that lives here. Hey, don't think the owner's going to be happy to have their house broken into at sword point. Ignoring me, Lynn went inside. With little other choice, I followed behind, hoping she wouldn't catch too much trouble. Take the cloak. So, we're gonna stop right here. I find this right now a bit interesting. So, probably do more of it. We'll see. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe if you want, and I hope to see you guys in the next episode. Bye!